Welcome back. Voting rights advocates are speaking out tonight after the Ohio Supreme Court voted to uphold the Secretary of State's controversial changes on who can use drop-off ballot boxes.
Secretary of State Frank LaRose issued a directive back in August that anyone dropping off an absentee ballot for someone else, like a family member or a disabled voter, can only drop it off in person inside the elections office or through the mail.
Our Mitti Hicks breaks down the Supreme Court's decision and has some responses from advocates. Hi, Mitti.
Hi, Russ and Lena. So this has been a back and forth since this summer. Voting rights advocates sued the Secretary of State over that August directive, but lost in court, mainly because early voting has already started. Now, one group says this hurts people who need help the most.
It's a continuation of a long trend we've seen in the state to undermine voting rights, roll back the gains of the 20th century.
James Hayes with Ohio Voice says the Ohio Supreme Court's recent decision to uphold a directive by Secretary of State Frank LaRose that limits how absentee ballots can be dropped off for elderly and disabled voters creates unnecessary challenges.
We know it's going to have a real impact on voters this election cycle, particularly elderly voters. Voters who might have issues coming out to the polls on election day and want to use absentee ballot and need more access to that ability.
LaRose issued a new directive to all county boards of elections in August that anyone returning a ballot on behalf of someone else must sign a form stating they're following the law. His directive also limits anyone returning the absentee ballot on behalf of someone else to either in person or in the mail. So these drop-off boxes you see outside of county board of elections are out, unless it's for yourself. The problem, according to voting rights advocates, our Board of Elections offices are open for a limited time throughout the day, while these drop-off boxes are 24/7 with surveillance.
Around the country, there are tons of models of states allowing more access to ballot drop-off locations, and there being zero problems.
In a 4-3 decision, the Ohio Supreme Court voted down party lines, giving LaRose's directive the green light in part because of timeliness. Early voting has already started in Ohio. LaRose says the directive is to prevent ballot harvesting, which refers to the act of gathering and submitting multiple absentee or mail-in ballots. In a statement, LaRose states, "I'm grateful the court has allowed us to proceed with our efforts to protect the integrity of Ohio's elections," adding the court's decision should reinforce the confidence Ohio voters have in the security, honesty, and accountability of our elections. But voting advocates disagree.
That is this narrative that there is, sort of a problem with voting, when in reality, many of our election officials are the best in the country, and we have had seamless elections time and time again.
Now, for those of you at home, if you are submitting an absentee ballot for a loved one, again, that form stating you're following the law is now required. And be sure to check with your county board of elections because times vary depending on the location, Russ.
All this 20 days before Election Day. All right, Mitti Hicks here in the studio. Thank you.
And a reminder that early voting is underway right now in Ohio. You can vote in person at your local county board of elections office or by mail using an absentee ballot. Early in-person voting ends on November 3rd. All absentee ballots must be postmarked and mailed by November 4th or dropped off before polls close on November 5th.
And you can check out our complete election guide on our website, WKYC.com. There you'll find information on key issues and races, both locally and nationally.